Hello, good to have you again on the program, and of course it still remains the economy today. And what we have this day also, as we always want to mention, focuses on the economy itself. And that's why, well, before all that, Okechukwu Onubogu here, good to have you on the program again. That's why we want to always look at the things that would affect, we will say, the individual, after that, then the society, and of course our nation at large, even the world. So beginning with this, with the individual, it now gets to every other person. Good to have you again. I have a guest today that is a special guest, I must say, because he is a finance and management consultant. I'm talking about Godson Eke. Godson, it's good to have you on the program today.
Thanks for having me.
Right.
Yes,
this is the maiden edition with you, and of course it will not be the last. We'll be here many more times as we go on, sir. Then the topic we have for the program today is also there for you to see, and that is talking about financial inclusivity. Financial inclusivity. We have local government autonomy still inconclusive. I wonder, and this is I mean, a year after we're still talking about this, and we need to look into it and find out more. And of course, that's why we have a financial consultant, a finance consultant rather, and a management consultants to help us talk about the financial side of this story, because it also has a political side, you know. But then we can still mention a bit of it and still continue from where we are coming. That is the financial sector. Well, that is it. We also have a news bit today, rather from the news, from the business news today for you, and so you watch that. But then we will begin with the stock exchange. So let's look and see what we have there from the stock exchange. The Nigerian stock market maintained its bullish run to close trading session on a positive note, amidst despite recording missed outcomes in key performance indicators. The Nigerian exchange NGX market capitalization increased by 1.76 trillion naira, representing a 2.28% increase, to settle at 78.73 trillion naira, following Guaranteed Trust Holding Company's GTCO new listing. The all-share index ASI surged by 2.01%, adding 2,457.13 basis points to close at a new all-time high of 124,466.80 basis points. Hence, the market index and the market capitalization diverged as Nigerian Exchange List GTCO PLC's public offer of 2,288,250,000 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each at 70 naira per share on the exchange on Thursday. Investor sentiment remained largely positive, as reflected in the market breadth, with the local bourse recording its 7th consecutive session of gains. With the booming trade, the market breadth closed largely positive, recording 70 gainers and 10 losers. In addition, the market's sectoral performance was positive. FTN Cocoa Processor, Halden McCall Holdings, United Bank for Africa, UACN Property Development Company, Caverton Offshore Support Group, and Consolidated Hallmark Holdings topped the advancers chart for yesterday with a price appreciation of 10%. Other gainers include Red Star Express, ABC Transport Services, CAP, Ella Lakes, ICO Insurance, and 59 others. 10 stocks depreciated according to trading details obtained from the Nigeria Stock Exchange, Nigeria Stock Market. Conversely, Newmouth International Pharmaceuticals was the top loser, with a price depreciation of minus 9.91%. Well, that's it for Stock Exchange now. We'll still return to talk about other matters, but right now it is the discussion section that I want to hold with my guest, my very valued guest. As I did say, he is a finance and management consultant. Godson Eke, it's good to have you. Looking at what we have as our topic, financial inclusivity, and then we look and see local government autonomy still inconclusive. How do you see it in the first place? The inclusivity, is it working with local government or is it not working?
Yeah, it is when the Supreme Court gave her judgment exactly on the 11th of July 2024.
Yes.
The expectations were high. Basically, everybody in the country gave a sigh of relief because we thought that we're about getting it right. Now, getting it right in the sense that over the years, the state governments have muzzled the local government through whatever they call the state joint account, whatever. And we felt that since this landmark judgment has been given, that by now, the local government would have had enormous, reasonable amount of freedom to be able to execute their own projects, have access to their funding. But it's rather very, very disturbing that from what we read and what we hear, that 1 year after that particular landmark judgment is said to be implemented. And a lot of factors, for what we see and read, is being attributed to it. We don't know what the bureaucracies and the political maneuverings and the inside interest is now trying to stifle and make it difficult for what would have aided, the delivery of dividends of democracy to the Nigerian populace. I don't know why it is happening. And right now, nobody is happy at it, really. And we wish, and I feel, and pray that they should rather put all their acts together and allow that to be. Because as it is happening now, a lot of things are, as it is stifled, a lot of things are happening at the local government level. Most of these local governments are not able to execute some of the projects that statutorily they are supposed to do, which has to do with issues that has to do with primary education, primary health care delivery, other projects and whatever that the constitution,
inside roads and all that,
inner roads and all those
markets,
things they are supposed to do.
That,
markets, development of the markets, management of the market. They are not able to handle all those things.
And parks,
and parks. And all that. So we think, and I want to pray that in the months and weeks going forward, that they should be able to. In fact, we are told that there was a committee set up by the same federal government, and why this is being stifled is what we can understand, because in the first place it was the federal government that went to court through the Attorney General of the Federation, the AGF, to want to ask the Supreme Court, and they got a landmark judgment that the local government should be autonomous in managing their financial resources. Now, after that has happened, where is the hiccup coming from? Where is the lack of will now to allow this thing to be implemented? Of course, typical of what happens sometimes in the country, a lot of people are attributing this to political maneuvering, because if you do that, election is around the corner. Already in 2027, we don't know how that is going to affect the state governors who actually ordinarily wouldn't have wanted that to happen. But the fact is that the highest court of the land has given its judgment, and it should be implemented. That's what we think.
Looking at it again, you see that the central bank seems to be the one that is making it more of a problem, because the central bank at that committee meeting that the
was set up by the federal government,
and set up, and there was one condition that the central bank gave, The central bank asks that they
2 years
2 year audited account.
Audited account of local government. Which of the local governments in this country has an
Nobody
audited
has
account?
It. None. Why is it that the central government itself, central bank itself, that is the one that should even help make this thing move fastest, is the one now preventing it? Please, looking at it, you are a financial expert and finance expert, and you know about these things. Looking at local governments, the way they have been running their affairs, is it ever possible for them to get to have that 2-year audited account?
Nothing is
financial account.
See, for me, I think nothing is impossible. The only challenge here is that they are being asked to do what they are not used to doing. There must be a time when certain things, when there should be orderliness. There must be a time when when decorum should be introduced in the way we do things. Now, the truth is that it's possible that they are not used to it. But for crying out loud, after 1 year after, or let's say 11 months after, why can't they put their acts together and produce an audited statement of account if that's a requirement? But again, the central bank that is asking for this audited statement of accounts, I want to believe also that they are doing it in good faith to be able to let these people know that, look, the local government, 774 of them, know that these are locations, because these are not small monies.
Yes, they are not.
These are not small money. These are taxpayers' money that are going to be sent to them directly to their accounts. I think what they want to do now is to be able to make them understand that, look, going forward, it's no longer going to be business as usual. Yeah. Whatever that may be happening in the past, we want to now be able to put a system in place that will checkmate, correct the ills of the past, give us a new pedestal from which to stand and operate going forward. But again, I want to say that if they are having difficulties in doing that, can't the local government, can't the central bank come out and give a guideline on how they should go about this, so that compliance will be seen, or so that compliance will be a lot more easier by the local government to come up with. 2, the local governments are saying also that they wanted to open accounts in the commercial banks. Remember that a few years back, accounts of governments were moved out of the commercial banks. It is because of this trying to, introducing transparency, making sure that funds are not being used for purposes, and also that in some of these commercial banks or whatever, these funds are not trapped or diverted for some other uses. So if other government agencies, federal government establishment, department, MDAs have been asked to move money out of the commercial banks and maintain it with the central bank, either through the TSA or whatever. So why would the local government want to see that they want to open their own accounts in commercial banks? And that for them, I find it funny to say that for them that's what the autonomy means. It may not really mean that.
Yes.
Let them open with the central bank and start first. If there are hiccups in running those accounts, then they can always go back to the
central bank,
for assistance. And again, that will enable them come to FAC, be represented in Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, and then come to FAC on a monthly basis as these things are done, as it is done with the state and the federal government. But I think more what we see here is that the governors themselves, who ab initio did not initiate this, are not really willing to let it be. They will prefer that joint account, whatever. But while that is happening, the grassroots, local governments' activities are being stifled. The impact this would have on their own administration and activities at the local level, and the trickle effect it will have in the financial life of the grassroots people that they represent is not happening.
You see, some time ago, the Imo State government in particular, of course, it was reported that the Imo State government was doing things that were not okay, that were inimical to the development of the local governments, because of the way they were talking about that bank account that would be opened, that somebody was to take charge of it and to tell the local governments where to pay to, and when the money comes in, then he will monitor their movement of the money. And a bit again later, one of the states in the southwest, I think it was Oyo State, the local government chairmen, all of them came and said that they were not bothered, that they needed all the money to be given to the state and let the state give to them, which was a kind of political thing as far as I'm concerned. Then again in Anambra State, something like that was also mentioned, that there was a specific account that money should be paid from where the local governments would take whatever they needed. But all this put together, you have been in the banking world. In actual fact, you have been a bank manager, sir.
Yes.
So tell me, what is the problem with this matter? Why can't they let them collect their money directly and use and not just go through the state? And there was something good you said, that the local government chairmen should listen, and the local governments should listen and not insist that they will go to commercial banks. Yes. That they should go through the central bank. Even when they collect their money, they can now pay into their own account. Is it not? Another bank that they can run with. Please tell us a little more about that.
No, you've just said it when you gave example of 2 states that are giving conditions on how these monies should be released. Should be released to whatever account they have in mind. From there, they will deploy or give the one that belongs to the local government. Yeah. At the end of the day, what they are proposing is akin to having the same joint local government state joint local government accounts that they were having before, where they do all manner of deductions.
Yes.
They deduct for this, deduct for security, deduct for all kinds of things. Those things that they were deducting for before. One would expect is that to now come and say, look, local government, now that you're fully autonomous, these and these activities or services, you should take charge and be responsible for them. And local government also be now coming up with their own budget. Let them be coming up with their own plan of action, budget, and all that. Now, the allocations can go to whatever account that it is intended. But I don't think it stops them from having some other petty accounts that will enable them handle some service, because it's not everything that they will have to pay to service providers directly through central bank and whatever. They could still be allowed to have some accounts,
of these smaller ones.
Yes, some accounts for recurrent issues and all that. But when you have to do for some to a reasonable level of capital budget, please payment should be made direct from the accounts that is where these allocations are made direct to. Right? That's what I think they should do. They need to take off. Federal state government need to hands off tampering with these allocations that are supposed to be due to local government, so that we cannot be able to know who to hold accountable for what. Remember initially when this judgment was given, a lot of people in some certain school of thought felt that, look, I hope corruption is not changing clocks. But if you say these monies are corruptly being utilized, or the state governments are sitting on it, using it to do some other things, you want to checkmate corruption, then also there should also be a mechanism to check the excesses or whatever we think is the corrupt practices that these people are doing, so that it won't just be transferred to local government chairman.
And it will still be
so monitoring, close monitoring, checks and balances should always be there. And of course, that's why you have other organs of government that should look into that and be able to ensure that it happens.
Okay. I want to also mention that I have a record that of certain things, certain amount of money received by local governments through states in the past 11 months and some months. I will not be able to take all of it, but then it's an analysis that we received, and it's from Daily Trust, and it says that in July, let me say that they have all received generally over 3.48 trillion
in the past 11 months.
Yes, and accrued to them all the 774 local governments. And then in July 2024, FAC distributed 431.079 billion to the federal government, 473.477 billion to the state governments, and 343.703
to the federal government,
to the local government.
Again.
Now, the total amount comprised the distributable revenues from various sources, including statutory revenue, value-added tax, electronic money transfer levy, that is one they call EMTL, then exchange difference, and solid mineral revenue. Now, of the 1.203 trillion naira distributable revenue in August, that is August now, the federal government received 374.93 billion. The state government received 422.86 billion, while the local councils received 306.53 billion naira. And in September, the local government received 374.92 billion.
That's right.
The following month, FAC shared money again, that is October, September, October, and the local governments still received 355.621 billion naira. Now, looking at this amount, 13% of mineral revenue was shared among the benefiting states' derivation revenue.
Exactly.
Now, in November, we still had such a thing, because every month they keep...
It's been continuous. It's been a continuum.
And so this amount of money that has been coming to local governments, we haven't seen, I don't know whether some people have, we haven't seen the impact of these things in these local governments that we're talking about. So that is why there is strong need for us to have them, let them have that money. Let us not say that, just as we're saying that this is what should have gone to them, they could come now and say, we didn't receive it all, it was the state governors
that have been keeping.
Yes.
Now, of course, if they don't have the accounts and there are still problems or hiccups with this issue of you need to open an account so that it can be allocated directly, and since all these months that this landmark judgment was given, if every month allocations are made or monies are shared by FAC, their own has been going as you have analyzed, and of course there has been no month that every money that is shared, you don't have the state, you have local government, you have state and federal allocation, is been going to them. It don't persist to say that since there has been no separate account where they are located directly, it's still been passing through the state government. Then the issue now is what has been happening to those money. Now, by the time they finally have account, with the monies be given, of course, you can trust account. One can hazard a guess that the governors will also tell you we have run so and so expenses on their behalf.
On their behalf, yes.
And we are going to make deductions. And that's the kind of thing that happens in this country. And like we said earlier on too, there cannot be total diversion of political scheme in this thing.
Out of this.
There's a lot of political scheme. Election is coming again, and probably that's also what is making the federal government to be very cautious, a little bit withdrawn in enforcing implementation, because they will also be affected. These governors or the states also have a lot to do with
some financing
and how these people are elected or not elected or elected or whatever. So, but whatever it is, for whatever it is what, we applauded. Everybody applauded this government for that landmark decision. They should please put their acts together and let this be implemented to the letter in accordance with the judgment delivered by the Supreme Court. And that will be fine.
The National Union of Local Government Employees, they are even planning that they will
protest. They want to protest now. And we don't need all these. We don't really need all this.
We don't.
But you don't blame them.
There are financial impacts that will be made when such things happen.
Exactly.
Isn't it so?
Of course.
From local governments and all that. Because there are certain things, certain inputs they are still making to the economy.
Yes.
And when the strike action comes, those things will not be seen.
Exactly.
Well, we will talk about this a little more.
Yeah, because it's still a matter that is ongoing, and a lot of reasonings and a lot of thoughts in the going days days and weeks and months,
yes,
depending on how long it still takes them to get this sorted out.
All right.
It will still be a discussion on the front burner.
Yes, we will still talk even before we leave this studio with him, Godson Eke. But before then, let's introduce what we have from our business news. It will take a little time.
All right,
then we'll return here and continue.
Okay.
Let's first start.
Nigeria and the European Union have announced a new €20 million initiative aimed at strengthening partnership between Nigerian museums, supporting film festivals and promoting the country's fast-growing digital creative industries. The agreement was unveiled during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Art, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Barrister Hannatu Musa Musawa, by high-level European Union delegation led by the EU ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS Ambassador Godson Eke in Abuja on Thursday. According to the ministry, the initiative is part of a broader strategy to harness Nigeria's rich cultural heritage to drive economic growth, create jobs, and foster national unity. Both Nigeria and the EU delegation expressed strong commitment to deepen cooperation in the cultural sector, focusing on capacity building, digital skills development, and creating employment opportunities. Ambassador Godson Eke commended Nigeria's vibrant creative energy and cultural heritage, noting that the partnership would help new avenues for cultural exchange and economic growth.
General of Customs Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, who was represented by the National Public Relations Officer of the Service, Assistant Comptroller Abdullahi Miwada, at the official handing over of the consignment to the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, said the seizure was part of the ongoing efforts to curb illegal wildlife trade and protect endangered species in line with Nigeria's obligations under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora.
That on Friday, 5th June 2025, at approximately 21:00 hours, operatives of the Nigeria Customs Service, acting on credible intelligence, intercepted a 1x40-feet container loaded with donkey genitals along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. The interception was carried out under the coordinated surveillance by officers of the Special Wildlife Office, Customs Intelligence Unit, further confirming the persistence of illegal wildlife trafficking networks in exploiting Nigeria's corridors.
Speaking further, Miwada noted that the Special Wildlife Office has recorded several high-profile seizures in recent months, including the interception of pangolins, parrots, baboons, and other protected animals.
The arrest of one suspect in Ikom area of Cross River State linked to seizure of 213 parrots heads, 6 eagle heads, 128 hornbill heads, and other exotic species. On 13 January 2025, the service handed over rescued tortoise to National Park Service in Oyo State. Several seizures involving specimens such as life-size lions, gorilla parts, and pangolin scales have been recorded in various ports and logistic routes nationwide. One such case involved 119.4 kilograms of pangolin scales found in a container concealed in sacks around Calabar area of Cross River State.
Also speaking, AC Anuhu Mani, team lead for Special Wildlife Office under the Customs Intelligence Unit, said that the mission is to protect Nigerians' rich biodiversities, combat illegal wildlife trafficking, and uphold our international obligations under Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species and other conservation agreements.
I'm proud to report that with dedication, strategic partnership, and unwavering commitment, we have significant headway in this vital fight. In the last 6 months alone, we have rescued over 220 live animals, endangered animals for that matter. We have also seized over 6,000 kg of pangolin scales, 37 taxidermies, and the latest behind me donkey genitals. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that we have 10,603 genitals in the container behind me, which represents 10,603 donkeys killed.
The Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, reiterated its commitment to strengthen enforcement through training, intelligence sharing, and interagency collaboration.
Nigeria is grappling with a dire malnutrition crisis, holding the second highest global ranking and topping the list in Africa, as stated by Okechukwu Onubogu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Health. Malnutrition costs Nigeria approximately $1.5 billion annually, while inaction could cost around $56 billion or 12.2% of the country's gross national income, as revealed by Chike Okafor, chairman of the House Committee on Food and Nutrition. Post-harvest losses estimated at $2 billion yearly by the FAO exacerbated food insecurity. This loss surpasses the combined nutrition budget of key ministries. Okafor described the ongoing losses as unsustainable in the current economic climate and stressed the importance of strategic capacity building. He noted that the committee is holding sessions to better understand the root causes of nutrition and food security challenges in Nigeria. Household debt in Nigeria has risen to $38.7 billion at the end of the first quarter of 2025. The latest figure is the highest level since 2005, when it was $4.6 billion. The figure, however, increased by 4.6% compared to $37 billion in the first quarter of 2024, according to the Global Debt Monitor from the Institute of International Finance, a Washington-based association representing over 400 global financial institutions. According to data provided in the Global Debt Monitor, Nigeria's household debt now surpasses the combined debt of non-financial and financial corporations, which stands at $12.6 billion and $23.6 billion respectively at the end of the first quarter of 2025. According to the IIF, household debt is the financial commitment individuals and families undertake for personal consumption or investment. This debt represents 20.4% of Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP). This is a high ratio for an emerging economy, especially given persistent inflation, which was 23% in February 2025, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria.
While inaugurating the newly appointed 8 board members of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, with immediate past chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje, as the chairman, Keyamo charged them to approach their responsibilities with diligence, integrity, and a deep sense of national duty. He noted that the establishment of the FAN under the Federal Airports Authority Act of 1996 laid the foundation for modern airport management in Nigeria, with a clear mandate to provide efficient airport services while upholding the highest standards of safety and security.
As we inaugurate the new board, we carry the weight of expectation that we must continue to foster an environment where aviation can thrive, connect diverse regions, and promote socio-economic development across our nation. The challenges we face are numerous, from infrastructure deficits to ever-evolving dynamics of global aviation. Yet, I am confident that the wealth of experience and expertise that each of you bring to the board will be instrumental in steering FAN towards achieving its mission.
In her remarks, the Managing Director and CEO of FAN, Mrs. Olubunmi Kuku, expressed optimism that the board would prioritize institutional governance in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed Hope agenda. She pledged collaboration with the ministry and other stakeholders to enhance significant improvements at the nation's airports.
Nigerians as well as our international passengers will be proud of the work that we would have done, because it will be a collaborative effort and it will be visible. We will not have to sing our own song. Rather, Nigerians will.
Speaking on behalf of the board members, Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje assured the minister that the board would diligently study and work within the provisions of the FAN Act to avoid any overlap in responsibilities while maintaining a strong commitment to service delivery.
We study the Act of FAN in order to see our boundary, so that we don't exceed our boundary. You know, this is a common problem between board and the executive management and the ministry. So we are fully conscious of this. Therefore, board members will study the Act so that we don't go out of bounds, we don't overshoot. But at the same time, we don't exhibit mediocrity by not doing what we are expected to do. Honorable Minister, I am sure in conjunction with the executive management will ensure service delivery, because that is the whole essence of FAN. Service delivery. And this service delivery is becoming more and more complicated because there are so many stakeholder institutions, both at national level and international level.
Ekaite Ibot, Kaftan TV.
The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, has proposed a partnership with the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, to create a data-sharing portal aimed at improving compliance with the Employees' Compensation Scheme, ECS. NSITF Managing Director Barrister Oluwaseun Faleye made the call during an interagency meeting in Abuja, highlighting CAC's role as Nigeria's central corporate data repository. He said the collaboration would help the fund reach more employers, enhance service delivery, and ensure timely claims and compensation. Faleye also emphasized the need to raise awareness among CAC staff about ECS benefits and promote workplace safety through occupational health audits. CAC Registrar General Hussaini Ishaq Magaji welcomed the proposal, noting its potential to strengthen the economy through improved social security coverage.
Well, thank you so much. You've seen what we have from our business news on the program, of course, and still talking about financial inclusivity and local government autonomy is still inconclusive. That's just part of it. And now looking at this financial inclusivity, we've also watched and seen the aviation stories, that the way it came, and there are certain things that have to do with finances that the people, finances rather, that the people need to think about and how to handle effectively. Like states, is it not high time? I mean, if it's not late, is it not high time we started thinking outside the box to make money, from the state, and forget about this monthly allocation that they come for on a constant note, and most governors just relax and forgetting about the many natural resources and other things they have in their states. How can we think about how to get more finances for the states and the local governments as well? Then, of course, ultimately for the individuals, for the masses, for the populace.
Yeah, generating more revenue, of course, for quite a long time now. That the emphasis have shifted from just waiting for when federal allocation is distributed for states to have money to do XYZ, whatever projects they have in their hands. There's been a lot of emphasis in the recent time on internally generated revenues, IGR. But the problem I have, or some of us have about this IGR thing, is that it has just been taxes, levies upon the people, taxes, levies upon the same people that are already economically impoverished. Now, rather than looking at how can we exploit the abundant resources that do exist in our domain, this is where the states are a little bit lazy. But some other states who have also realized that, look, there are a lot of potentials. If these states have realized that we have a lot of potentials, we have a lot of resources that can be, harnessed to generate more revenue, generate more income for our for developmental purposes and developmental projects that we have on hand. A lot of states are thinking outside the box, and they are doing a lot along that line. But generally speaking, most other states are yet to really sit up and look inward, do an introspection and say, look, must everything we need, must every finance we need have to come from the center before we're able to do our projects? And this is where we think that some states are doing quite very well along the line of IGRs and all that. But the problem, again, like I said, is how can we do these internally generated revenues without creating heavy burdens on the populace, the people at the grassroots? How can we do it in such a way that they will also not be bearing the heavy burden through excessive taxation, sometimes multiple taxation? Local government will tax their own, especially in some markets. Local government will tax their own, state government will tax their own, will put their own tax. Yes. You now discover that people are now paying multiply. So there should be streamlining of some of these things, much as we encourage states to develop working IGR systems that will enable them earn more money and they'll be able to develop their projects. But they should so streamline them in such a way that the burden of taxation, especially in the area of multiple taxation, should be removed, should, if not completely eliminated, reduced.
Well, I look at it that the incoming tax regime
reform,
would deal a whole lot with all these that you've mentioned.
Yes, but the tax reform bill, which have become a law that has been signed and activated with a lot of benefit that has been outlined, we are now looking at it that is expected. It's still an expectation until it goes into full implementation. Until it goes into full implementation, then we'll be able to assess the efficacy, the benefits, and the revenue. But all that we have now is the expectations of what it will achieve, how it's going to, add more money into the pockets of individuals and the pockets of government, because as the government is earning through it, individuals are also earning through it. These are expectations, and we really do hope that if properly implemented and driven to the letter, that it will really serve its purpose. Until that happens, we will wait to see.
Okay. Yes. Until that happens, we wait to see.
Yes.
And now, it's just like talking about a family where the woman, the wife, then has a husband and has the children. I'm just looking at it as like the way we have a country.
Yeah.
The husband being the federal government, the wife being the state government, and the children being the local governments. And you see the woman depending wholly on the husband to make provision for the funding for the home. And then in another case, you see another woman that is making effort to look for little things to do, small businesses
to support the husband.
To support the husband. And then you also get to see in some cases where the children are extremely industrious and the children are doing one business or the other just to support the family, to ensure that the family grows. Or what do you advise local governments at a time like this? What do you advise the people, especially the individual that is watching, what to do to enable them to make some means, make some earnings apart from waiting for what they will receive
from the center. Well, the advice already, everywhere is awash with what anybody can do. But the political way to do some of these things is one thing. And then another thing is this, whatever we try to do in all this whole gamut of do something, think outside the box, generate more revenue, do your project, don't depend on federal government, until there is devolution of power, until there is redistribution of resources, until people can reasonably control their resources, which is also part of what the ongoing discussion about amending the constitution is all about.
Yes,
tinkering with the constitution, resource control and all that. Let it be holistically handled in so, because there are still certain things that can that could exist as a resource at your local government or your state that you may not have for now, as in the constitution of today. You may not be able to go and touch without the approval of the center. And that's what it means to have a lot of things in the exclusive list. Let's remove some of this. Let's cascade down. There's a lot the local governments can do quite all right. You know, peripherally, little things that they can do. The markets, of course, it boils down to. But again, as we do some of these things, we should also think about the poor masses, so that we don't further push them down the poverty ladder. We need to start pulling people out of poverty line, take them above, pull them out of poverty, and help them to be financially included in the financial services sector, in the access to funds, access to savings, access to credit, access to insurance, access to pensions and all this. These are the things that, while trying to generate your own revenue, you don't stifle them such that they now begin to find it difficult to even save. I mean, but somebody needs to eat before saving. And somebody needs to also have access to credit facilities, especially for the MSMEs, the medium, small, micro, and entrepreneurs. They need to be so empowered. They need to be encouraged to be able to have access to all these things. So local government can actually do a lot. I think they have the markets, they have the parks and all that. But while doing that too, it should be done in such a way that the people at the grassroots, which is actually their domain, are not further pushed down into poverty, index.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you so much, sir, for being here on the program today. And this is because of the fact that we have discussed financial inclusivity and getting someone that is an expert on financing and finances handling, financial management too, coming to talk about it with us. We are grateful. And I know that there are lessons we must have picked. Dear viewer, I believe there are lessons you must have picked from what we have discussed today on the program, and believing that even as time goes on, that even the federal government will make more effort to free local government. I say federal government will make effort to free local government, because they are really held spellbound really by the state governments, whether we believe it or not.
They're holding them at the jugular.
Yes, at the jugular.
Stifling them.
Yes. So they need to be freed so that better things can happen in the local government level.
You can only put the controls, checks and balances on how they handle their finances, but don't just hold on to it and begin to give them peanuts. Release it to them. Let's put checks and balances and hold them accountable to what they have been given.
Exactly.
That's not what they cannot perform.
Because right now, there is no way you can hold them accountable.
There's no way you can hold them accountable, because it's not coming to them directly.
When you say a thing, they will say, ask our governor.
They can't sneeze except the governor says sneeze.
Oh, no, that's too
bad.
They
can't breathe except their governor say breathe. Is that how we're going to continue running our country? No, please.
No.
Please.
No. Well, you've had it all. And that's how we want to say that we're wrapping up our program for today. And again, it has been Godson Eke, finance and management expert, that came on the program today. I want to thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And hoping that even as this is your maiden edition, you will still call you up many more times.
Anytime.
To help us and sort out these matters. We're very grateful.
God bless you. Thank you.
Right. On behalf of all the fellows with whom I have worked, as you've seen them and their names being brought up for you to see, this is Okechukwu Onubogu, And of course, not forgetting to say that I have come with my assistant, Esther Abraham. We've worked together to ensure that all that happens here happens quite well. We want to thank you for being there. I want to thank you for being part of all that has happened. And we say, as always, may the very best happen to us all, even as we leave.